Okay, we're joined by Patrick Mullins to look ahead to the first couple of days at the Randox Grand National Festival at Aintree. Patrick, let's take a look over the first couple of days, kicking off with Impere Pass in the manifesto. He came good at this meeting last year over a similar trip, Patrick. Has the kind of return to Aintree been the plan for him for a little while now?
Yeah, look, Simon and Isaac they're big fans of Aintree and they were quite keen to come back. So when he disappointed a little bit in Leopardstown, the decision was made to miss Cheltenham, and obviously there was no intermediate novice chase distance at Cheltenham. So we felt we'd come here and he won well on the track, and we put cheap pieces on because he just can be a bit cold. I think maybe he got a little bit left on his own in Leopardstown. But I think his form from with Lagardan and Bob Ollinger in the Aintree last year is probably the best bit of form on offer in the race.
Yeah, good chance. The meeting really does start with a bang, doesn't it? With the 4 Grade 1s. How do you assess the 4-year-olds, the Willie de Hoy and Mercia? This might be another open juvenile race by the looks of things.
It is. Look, obviously none of there's no Poneros, no Lulamba, no East India Dock and Hello Neighbour. So look, the main protagonists aren't there. Look, we're sending Mercia and Willie de Hoy. They both were a little bit disappointing or underwhelming in Cheltenham. We're hoping obviously it's a lesser kind of a race than it was in Cheltenham, and it's a different track, and we're hoping that can bring about some improvement. But we're going more hope than expectation.
Okay, your first ride personally at the meeting is none other than Gaelic Warrior. This is in the Grade 1 Bowl. It's taken a while to go back up to 3 miles with this horse, but I was slightly surprised I was reminded that he's actually 1 from 1 over the trip. You've ridden him a few times in the past in races. Is he up to the job, do you think?
Yeah, look, this season hasn't gone to plan. I mean, he was obviously got a little held up at the start of the season. He had a satisfactory comeback run at Christmas and then disappointed at DRF, which he did last year as well. We weren't happy to send him to Cheltenham. His work just wasn't quite good enough. And obviously Paul has chosen Embassy Gardens. So Embassy Gardens is working very well, but he always does work very well at Embassy Gardens. So I'm delighted to pick up, get back on Gaelic Warrior. Yeah, look, he won a 3-mile Grade 1 novice hurdle in Punchdown on good ground. I think over 2 miles, he needs heavy ground to be at his best. But I think open trip at 3 miles, good ground is fine. It's obviously left-handed. He doesn't seem to be quite as consistent left-handed. Obviously, he won the Arkle, but he does seem to be more at ease on right-handed. So, look, there's plenty of question marks, but I just think, and it's a very competitive race as well. I mean, Grey Dawning, Spallant, Sour. But I think if we can get Gaelic Warrior into a rhythm, get him settled, it's going to be hard. He's been chasing Solness around over 2 miles, and now he's going to have to go 2 strides slower. So, hopefully, he'll settle and jump appropriately. But there are question marks, but I'm delighted to be on him, and I have huge faith in this horse, so I think he can do it anyway.
Yeah, it should be a cracking race. Now, I remember speaking to you before, Sharjah was he was boxed clever, should we say, to finish second behind Constitution Hill at Aintree. He ran really well a couple of years ago. That's not going to be the plan, I guess, for Lossiemouth. This is a mouth-watering clash.
It is, round 2. We've been here before, and look, we couldn't beat him over 2 miles when he was rusty, having not ran for a year. We'd had a run. So perhaps, we're hoping that 2.5 miles can close the gap that was there at Kenton. And we'd have to think that Constitution Hill is probably better than he was then. It's a big step up from beating the Mares to take on Constitution Hill. But, the day with Charles at Constitution Hill probably didn't look at it best at 2.5 miles. Now, maybe he was just dossing and maybe he'd had a hard season that season. So that is where you get your hope. But, look, I think it's going to be hard for Lossiemouth. But again, Constitution Hill has to prove that he can come back with his fall okay. But he's definitely the one. He's definitely going to be very difficult to beat.
Now, nothing in the Mayor's Bumper on day 1, Patrick. I'm not sure what's happened there, but you are on Animix, back on Animix. Cheap pieces go on. He gave you a good spin in the Fox Hunters last year.
Yeah, look, it's fantastic. I mean, he's 12 now. He's been in the yard 8 years. He's like part of the furniture. He's definitely a cult hero in Close Sutton. So yeah, we're putting cheap pieces on just to T12, just to liven him up. He ran twice at the track. He was third in the Foxenwood last year. He was third in the Topham with Danny one year. So we're just hoping that'll spark a revival in him. He did disappoint in Gore last time, but I probably, myself and Derek, dropped out and went wide, and I think the horses that got involved were at the front and the inside, so I think we just got the race wrong. I think he's a big price, and look, it's 30 runners. You need a bit of luck, but I definitely love riding a horse that has form around the course.
Yeah, fantastic. Good, a good book of rides. Well, a good set of runners for the yard on Thursday. On to Friday, you have Dancing City and Keita Bourbon in the Mildmay. This is the 3-mile novice.
Yeah, look, Dancing City was very disappointing in Cheltenham. Now, maybe they just went a stride or two too slow for him. They did turn into a bit of a sprint, and he's not a fast horse. So I imagine Paul might be more forceful on him this time. He obviously backed up into Aintree last year, having got beaten in Cheltenham as well. So maybe he's just not as good at Cheltenham. That could be a possibility too. But it's a hot little race. Obviously, Caldwell Potter is going to be very interesting, stepping into Grade 1 company again. And then obviously Keita Bourbon, look, he unseated me at the ditch before last. We were going well, but like I said, we'd gone slow. Everything was going well. I think I could have been involved. I think I'd have been in the placings. So I definitely wouldn't write him off. I know he has to step up on his form, but I just wouldn't write him off, yeah.
I must ask about Cupcake to me. Punters probably getting a bigger price here than they did at Cheltenham, but should we give him the benefit of the doubt in the handicap?
Look, I think whatever, it was amazing. He went down the first 2 hurdles, showed you. 5 runs in France, it's very hard to come and run in a big handicap first time out, and his chance was probably gone after that. I think it's hard for a horse having his first run to back up very quickly. So I think it's a short turnaround and to travel over again. I think it's going to be hard for him. I have no doubt that he will be better than his mark, but I do think it's a big ask.
Let's just talk Salvatore Monday and the Topham chances as well. With the novice hurdler, you've got Carbow in there as well. Salvatore Monday, is this horse got a point to prove now?
He does. Look, the start of the Spring Novices was a bit of a mess. There was a confusion whether we were started or not. Half the field thought we did, and then Rachel Blackman's horse kind of stood just as the flag dropped and fell right into our lap. So I had to wheel out around her, which meant myself and William Money were kind of fighting for position after the first hurdle, and it just set my fella alight. But I was beaten at halfway. I mean, I'm having to bounce around at him after every hurdle down the back straight nearly. So I think for whatever reason he didn't show up on the day. Let him be being a bit keen for 2 furlongs. He still should have got half around the hill. So I think he's better than that. I think this track will suit him. Hopefully they go with good gallop. Paul will get him settled. And I'd still be a believer. I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't let him go off one below par run.
Okay, and let's just tackle the top of the yard. Appears to be mob-handed. What's the best chance?
Well, look, if I had the choice, I'd be putting my hand up for Glenn Gooley, but he's only 11 stone, unfortunately, so I won't be able to get on him. But I thought he ran awfully well in the Grand National for a long way last year, and that's the type of horse he took to the course, he jumped, he travelled. That's the type of horse you want for the Topham. You remind me a lot of Live, Love, Laugh. So I just thought, I know his form maybe isn't a fantastic stint. We're running in those big handicap chases, and you can run well and still have a bad form figure in those races. So I just think he's overpriced. Obviously, James de Burley was spectacular there last year. We didn't get home. It's just hard to see why he'd get home this time, but he'll definitely be in the placing. But if it was 2 mile 4 furlongs, it would be ideal. 2 mile 5 furlongs just stretches them ever so slightly, I think. So they're the two obviously, and I like enough now.
And finally, this is a good team coming to Aintree, isn't it? And not much talk yet of retaining the trainer's title. Has that been mentioned in house at all, or not this season?
Well, look, we're sending over plenty, and we needed to hit the bullseye. One of the main races, Statement fought and Gallop and Taught being second. That just makes life a little bit difficult. But we're sending enough over that if we do win the national, and it's a possibility. But I think it's going to be very difficult. But I think also last year probably maybe opened our eyes to we could maybe go to Aintree with more than we normally do, and particularly when there's quite a it looks this year you can do Aintree and Punchestown. with the gap between them. So that's made it more palatable, I think, to Willie.
And we'll catch up Friday. But finally, the national horses, looking forward to it. Are they all in good shape?
All in good shape. Maximus in great form, and yeah, we've no negatives to report. They'll travel over tomorrow morning. So the one more morning, keep it in one piece, and I think it's a great team, very strong team this year.
Yeah, good luck. We can't wait for it. Go well on day one. Thanks for your time as ever, Patrick.
Thanks so much, Matt.